Hello, my fellow Neopians, and happy Flotsam Day. I hope you're excited. I'm excited to read for you, at least, so we'll see. I have 4 deck piles before you. Our Oracle deck today will be the Magical Mermaids and Dolphins, felt fitting. And our 4 decks are the New Moon, the Neopets Tarot, the Kawaii Tarot, and Landscapes Tarot. You can go to however few or many as you would like. Just go with your gut and instinct. So if you get called to more than one, you can watch more than one pile. Sometimes there's something in each pile to be known or that you feel like you should be heard. And sometimes you only need one pile to let you know what's up. So go wherever makes sense for you. We are going to get started. Pile 1. Welcome pile 1 and happy Flotsam Day. You've chosen the New Moon Tarot. I've pulled our Mermaids and Dolphins card already. Alchemy. You have the Midas touch right now, and every project you begin turns to gold. Got a mermaid, cute little seal, lots of fish. So let's see why are we being told about a project and having success in a project. We're going to pull 6 cards to get started today. And our first card is the King of Wands. Justice follows with the Empress. And then the Star with the 10 of Wands. And our final card is the Ace of Swords. Oh yeah, pile 1. From what I'm getting is that you already know what the thing is that you're working on, and this is your sign that you need to be going for it, and that this is the time to start making the actionable thing, like decisions upon that thing that you've been thinking about, especially if this is any new like opportunity or starting a new project in like a new job or adventure, or you're trying to strike out on doing your own small business. This is the time. It seems, and if you haven't done these steps, then that is what needs to happen next. It seems that though, for a lot of those who are inquiring upon this, you have done a lot of checking in and doing as much research as you possibly can and trying to figure out what is available to you, what can you have, what things are out there for you, and what does your business offer that others don't? Where do you fit into the balance of what's there, what's not there? Is it a hole in the market, or is it just that you are trying to add a new spin on the market? Is it something that you're just trying to fill a niche? What is going on here? And you've done that research. You know what you're trying to be. You know what your business plan looking like, and you know what your piece of the puzzle is. The biggest thing though here is that you're going to hit a point that is going to be incredibly crazy responsible, and you need to be able to look at everything around you again and be like, okay, this is the point of what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. Here is how I fit in with it and balance it out. How I look at my responsibilities versus what the output is. You need to be like making sure the balance of what you're putting in to out is important, is working. And you need to know that the hopeful entrepreneurial side of this, while wonderful and amazing, does need to be balanced out with like understanding that there's actual work in this. You need to remember that there is a point of, making sure we are gathering the resources that are needed for this. And that might be where we're at right now, is that like this balance of, I have the energy and hope, but I don't have the resources, versus, or I might have the resources, but I'm trying to figure out the idea, the hope, the plan. That is what's out of whack right now. And there's a huge responsibility with making sure that balance stays in correct, not a correct, but like keeps the balance, that, everything is still being accounted for, that everything is still being stable. And that's going to be really big. And you don't want to veer so far one way that the other thing gets forgotten. Both are needed in this. The excited, brand new, fun adventure, but also the reality of, I need to be able to gather resources. I need to be able to have enough money and stuff into this. And I need to have other, the capability of doing and laying this base down, but also continuing this if this isn't going to work out for the first 2 months or X amount of time, honestly, to build this thing up. This is going to be quite a bit of work in that sense, that you're not going to just be able to like run out of the gates and do this. I'm excited for your creative project. This feels like more of you're trying to make your creative hobby your job, which can be incredibly difficult. So hopefully you've been kind of working what you can, figuring it out. If this is going to be like a arts and crafts market, is this going to be a sale thing? I'm curious to see what you guys end up doing and how you end up making your specific dream work. I want to pull a couple more cards. I want a little bit more clarity on kind of two things that I'm seeing here, which I really want some more clarity on. You're gathering resources. See if we can get a little bit more information about what resources we should gather. I am shuffling off of screen. I hope that is okay. Here, I'll try to shuffle a little bit on, but I think it's this one. Yeah. 8 of Cups. Okay. So we've been having this like fear of, you're emotionally in this. You're scared of the disappointment, that you're scared of finding out that this doesn't work. Makes sense. Totally makes sense. And I don't want that to be holding you back. There's a lot of really positive signs here that you can totally do this. I think though that it's just also you need to be realistic about things, and not just ride the, I'm so excited to do this thing, it's gonna work amazing, I'm gonna be amazing at this, but like if you're having all the anxiety of okay, but like what if it fails? So like what if it does fail? You can have a plan of like, how do I enjoy the next X amount of time to the fullest, even if this fails? Have a set up plan for that. That's okay. And it's okay to do. I think that's going to be a really important thing in this, is that you don't just let yourself blindly fail. And I think that'll help with your nerves about this, is that if you have a plan of, well, what if it does fail? Like, let's actually explore that. If you're doing an art market and you don't actually sell anything, what does that look like? One, you don't have to stock up for your next art market. You're able to use that stock again. You can, hopefully, you have been able to talk to people and talk about to customers and kind of get your face out there. Maybe talk to a couple other vendors, make some connections. That can be really helpful. And yeah, that can all be really good. And so making sure that you're looking for other things besides just the financial may be really important in this, and maybe very helpful. But like figuring out what your goals are in everything can be good. And don't be afraid to explore the what if I fail. That's not a bad thing in this. I want to pull one more card. But yeah, I don't want you to be, I think it's important in this that I'm glad that 8 of Cups showed up, because that's a really clear of like, cool, so what if you do fail? Like, actually explore that. If that's what you're worried about, actually explore that. Because I think that can be really powerful for you. Is like, okay, cool. Worst case scenario is this. Awesome. Let me discuss that within my, like, what does that actually look like? And that's important. All right. And our last one is the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah. Yeah. We're still, yeah, you're very much still in the, like, I'm trying to build the financial side of this. I'm trying to make this financially work. I want this to be my job. I want this to be my next endeavor and my permanent, like, new full-time job. And I think that's wonderful. And I think it's just, you need to just go for it. I'm very excited for you, Pile 1. I think this is a really exciting opportunity. I think this is going to be a big and important time for you. And it mentally, emotionally, you get to grow as a person really big from this, which is very exciting. I really hope, if you meditate, Ace of Pentacles is what I would meditate on. And I would take the time to, like, really sit with yourself and make sure you're exploring all the things that you are curious about and scared about and you fear, and the exciting parts too. What if you do sell out? What does that actually look like? Are you don't want to back to art fairs, like, back to back if they're not going to go well, but you might want to look at, an art festival that might have an opening slot and you just didn't do well the 1 week. So now you're going to go to another one because you don't have to flip your stock as fast. There's a lot of really important pieces here to explore and look into. I really hope for the best for you, Pile 1. I'm excited to see what you do. I'm excited if you're willing to share. I would love to hear about it, but it looks like you're going to be on a really great path, which I'm very excited about. Thank you so much, Pile 1, for letting me read for you. This has been an amazing read, and I hope you have a wonderful Flotsam day. Hello, Pile 2, and happy Flotsam day. You've chosen the Neopets Tarot. I have already gotten our Mermaids and Dolphins card selected. It's the positive energy. Surround yourself with positive people in situations and avoid negativity. So what are we keeping positive about? What's been going on? Let's see what we can find out. I love the Neopets Tarot. There's a lot of really great lore things in here that I'm still learning about. So if you are also somebody who loves the Neopets and you maybe know a little bit and can connect with some of the characters or anything, please feel free to let me know in the comments. I very much appreciate anybody who is willing to tell me a little bit more or send me down a rabbit trail to learn quite a bit about characters. I love that. All right. So we're going to pull 6 cards. Sorry for bumping the camera on you. And we will see where we end up from there. Our first card is the 8 of Wands. Following with the 5 of Wands. Going into the 7 of Pentacles. The Star. Temperance. And the 6 of Cups. In this time of trying to move away from a difficult situation, I think it can be a little hard to have that positive energy that the card wants us to have. And I think that's what you're trying to do, is end up with that positive energy. You're trying to distance yourself from people who have caused you a lot of issues. And you're trying to do this in the most positive light you can. It's hopeful. It's in a way of trying to be as amazing as possible as you can handle. And you're trying to have this time of healing, and you're hoping that it means that you end up in a happier spot. I think your childhood was one of many wonderful friendships, and it's probably some of the friends that you're distancing from now, unfortunately. And you've been holding on to this because you've wanted things to go back to the way they were. You've been hoping, you've been really wanting things to stay as they were and not change. And unfortunately, change is something that we all end up having. We change, our friends change, the world changes, and how we react to the world may be different than how we used to react. And that's unfortunate. I think you'll find the thing you're seeking within that nostalgic desire of the people around you will come back. It's just going to come back in a new form and in a new way that you didn't expect. And you're going to be really excited about it. You're going to be like so thrilled one day when you realize leaving a place, or maybe in the middle of talking with people, that this is a feeling that you've been wanting for a long time. It's just not with the people you thought it would be. And that might sting a little. It might hurt that, certain people that you hoped would be in that moment aren't there. But it is good to remember that there's always room in our hearts for people. We can still care about them without having to invest as much of ourselves into them, or allowing them to affect us as much as they do. I think that can be really big. But I want you to know that you're okay. You're going to do amazing. And that, yes, now is a good time to keep telling yourself it'll all work out and you'll be okay. I don't want you to necessarily shove the emotions and mental stuff aside, though. I do want you to take care of yourself. It's okay to be positive while still having a good cry. Knowing that a cry is a good thing for you is actually an incredibly positive thing to do. Knowing that being, screaming into a pillow about how frustrated and hurt you feel can be an incredibly positive thing for yourself. Journaling all your feelings down, taking the time to let yourself emote in the ways that needs to happen and be able to think through everything that needs to be thought through, and giving yourself little breaks, especially if you're moving away from things or troublesome relationships and you're like fully doing a really large change. It can take a moment to, be in your new space and realize you're unfamiliar and you're a little scared, and that might, need a good cry. And that's okay. This is your permission to do that if that's necessary. Take that time if you can for yourself. This is your sign to go for a drive and listen to the music you need to listen to. And safely, if you need to park and cry and have a little section of whatever that needs to be, then go for it. But I just think you need to know that this change is important and that it's so much better on the other side, and that you are going to end up in a place that's going to feel a lot better. You're going to be moving into a time where it's going to be very tempting to reach back. And you really need to listen to yourself and know that why you're leaving now is important, and you need to stay out. And you need to lessen those relationships and such. It's important. And it's important right now, but you also need to remember it's important in the future. Pile 2, I wish you the best of luck in this transition. I hope it works out all right for you, and that you can keep your head high and know that things are going to be okay. Because the cards are looking really good for you, and you contain the magic. It's not my cards. It's you, and you have the ability to turn the situation really around. So, thank you so much for joining me today, Pile 2. Hello, Pile 3, and happy Flotsam Day. You have chosen the Kawaii Tarot. I already have our Mermaids and Dolphins card picked out for us, so explore your options. It's time to look at other possibilities. It's a good time to make changes. Excited to see if we get some options in our cards. We're going to pull 6 cards to start off with. Ooh. And we will see what we end up finding out from those cards. So our first card is the 6 of Swords. Then going into the Moon, the 5 of Wands, King of Wands, the King of Cups, and our final card is Judgment. I think deep down you know that things need to change, and it's really hard sometimes to face that, which is unfortunate. Like, we don't always want to look within. For whatever reasons this may be, and it might be that you are kind of avoiding your earthly things. It might be that like your body literally cannot keep doing what you're doing and that you need to be looking at other options. Maybe financially you can't be doing what you're doing and you need to look at other options for change. You might have yourself into too many things. So you're just tired and you need to make a change on some sort. Maybe it's just that you're aging and, you know, you can't do what you once did and you're trying really hard to. Whatever the reason, now is a time to be aware and like really look at yourself and look at within and look at what you're doing and make a change. Now is the time to look around and go, what about this needs to be changed? It really is something needs to be dropped almost, it seems. For some of you, it might be that you need to add something in that you're not doing enough, but this feels like you're almost doing too much and you're exhausted. That things are, you're so busy, you don't have time to like listen to yourself. Like take this time to listen to your body and go, oh, I need to have some time to figure out what's in me that needs to be heard. What am I emotionally, you know, have I been shoving my emotions to the side? Have I been shoving my mental discomfort to the side and now I'm like ready to burst and I need to actually address that. I need to have, you know, a good cry. I need to like face the fact that I need to sit down and journal and write out my feelings. Whatever the case may be. I think that time has changed though and you need to be aware of it. And that can be hard. I think that this is going to be a huge mental fight. And you're going to have a hard time with yourself in this, that you may not feel like you deserve a break. And I'm going to tell you, you do. And you're going to go out of this break and kind of realize, oh, that's what I need. And I don't even think it needs to necessarily be like, I forever no longer do whatever on Tuesday nights or something. It's like, no, it's just that you need to check in with yourself and realize that you need to just take the next month off of volunteering somewhere. Or maybe this is when you say no to something. Sometimes saying no is hard. I understand. But maybe this is the time to say no. And I think you're going to realize that, yeah, I sometimes need to say no, and that's a good thing. You're an incredibly capable human being of doing a lot of things, which is amazing, and congrats. I'm not always like that, so I'm a little jealous, to be honest. But I think it's really important to realize that you totally can say no, and you totally can take care of yourself. I think you lead a lot, and it's okay to take a moment and a step back to be like, I don't have to be in charge. And maybe that's what this is that you just take a step back and let somebody take over, and it's not even like a less time, it's a less stress. It's a less people saying, hey, do you have the answer? And more of, no, you have to ask this person instead. So, yeah, I'm very excited for you because I think this is a really great opportunity. I just think you're going to fight yourself to make this change, and that's a bummer. I think it'll be really awesome if you can make this change and feel good and enjoy the fact that that change is happening. This is the nice thing about this particular change is that you're in control of it. But you're about to be out of control of it if you do not listen to yourself. Your body will tell you when to give breaks if you don't listen to it. And it's usually not convenient time to take a break when it decides. So take a break now. Take a break as soon as you can here. Yeah, thank you so much, Pile 3, for letting me read for you today. I wish you the best in this fight amongst yourself of if you should or if you shouldn't. But this is your sign that you should take care of yourself and that you should have extra check-ins. I will say that the only reason that you would maybe add something in is if you need to have like a self-reflection time where you like meditate. Maybe you take a hot bath with no electronics like in the room, no books, no distractions. It's just you having time to sit and think. That is the only reason I could see something like that coming into place, where you would add another thing to your schedule. But like, I still think you would want to pop something else out to put that in. So that might be a swap. So yeah, thank you so much again, Pile 3, for letting me read for you today. Explore your options. It's very important. Hello, Pile 4. You've chosen the Landscapes Tarot. Happy Flotsam Day. Our Mermaids and Dolphins card is simplify your life. Eliminate clutter from your home and your work life to balance the flow of activities. This is a very physical card. There's a lot of earth energy to it, of dealing with the things that are that you own and belong to you, and to help with the balance of things. I think stuff is one of those things that we sometimes forget how much stuff weighs upon us that we own, and how much it can just mentally be a hindrance. Although I am somebody who thrives in chaos, in the sense of, I like having a little bit of a mess. I like my places to look like I live or work there. So there is that. I don't like it looking like it's just a sterile place. All right, and we are going to start with 6 cards today from the Landscapes Tarot. And our first card is the 3 of Wands. Moving into the Page of Wands. The Page of Pentacles. The 2 of Swords. The Lovers. And the 6 of Swords. As you try to move into this next part of life, and I think this might involve a physical move, which might be part of the clutter thing, you need to remember that this decision doesn't just affect you, it affects others. It can affect your family, the ones you love especially. And while taking care of yourself is incredibly important, you also need to remember that there are others involved because of your decision. And while this is not to necessarily say, oh, you have to put their needs above yours, it is a thing to consider. And especially if it's family or people relying on your income, or if people rely on your availability to, help take care of them, or like the ability to hang out and have, like, for your sake, you're like, do you need to hang out with people to like mentally feel sane? Like, even just sometimes that can be very important. And I think that's a big deal here that you need to realize is others are involved in this. It's not just you. And while this is an exciting opportunity that you've probably been wanting for a really long time, you have to make have the realizations of what are you sacrificing in this, and what are you actually gaining. Because in a lot of this, it doesn't seem like you're gaining quite a bit. It seems kind of like you're just at a different part, but with like a different mental state. And is it something that you could have switched in this old place? I think that it's important that you do transition, but I think it's not for the right reasons and possibly the wrong time. I'm also curious how you are emotionally doing right now, because I don't know if you've been necessarily listening to how you emotionally are doing. And it might be that everything else is so in the way, you don't know how to answer the question, how am I feeling? Like, take a moment and actually think, how am I feeling right now? Were you able to come up with an answer? Because I don't know if you were. And if you were, that's awesome. If you are able to come up with an answer, that's great. But like, I don't know if you're realizing then how others are feeling in this too. This decision doesn't affect just you. That's the big message from this, is that it's not just you. And I think you need to sort through how everybody's involved in this, how you can help, hinder. What are the things that might need to be, taken care of? Is this something that is a good idea to take on this new opportunity, but it puts more responsibility on other people in your life? Like maybe you don't have enough time to help with chores and stuff. Then you need to realize what's going on. And maybe that means you help by not having as much stuff around. Maybe comes back to that simplify your life of, hey, I'm not going to be at my apartment as much anymore. Well, let me get rid of some of my stuff because I don't need it and I wasn't using it anyway. So let's not have that collect dust so that my partner doesn't have to dust it anymore. Stuff like that. And it doesn't have to be as literal as that, but sometimes it's just even like taking the 15 minutes before you get out of your car to like go and be happy and greet your partner with a smile and a happy face to help them just be able to transition into the evening better. Because you've been gone all day and now you guys are finally getting to hang out and it's only for an hour or two and you both just need it to be it can have serious things, you can have a fight in it and stuff, but to start it off on the right foot where you both want this thing to work is incredibly helpful. Pile 4. I hope this works out. This is a reading where it's so specific to the human that I can't give much more, it feels like, out of this. And that's probably also just my lack of experience. But this is a very, this could go so many ways in very personal directions that doesn't work for such a general reading. And so I'm sorry I'm failing you in that sense. But I really hope something in this made sense to you, stuck a little bit, in that you are able to kind of go, yeah, I know what that is, and are able to kind of keep going from there. You know what the specific thing I'm missing is for you. So, thank you for letting me read for you today, Pile 4. And I hope you are able to get through this.